can't believe we've won.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Wow, where do I begin with that? This is one of the weirdest match reactions I'm ever going to do on the channel. One of the weirdest I've done in a long time. For a long time in that game, it looked more concerning by the minute. I really wasn't looking forward to this match reaction video whatsoever. One of those days where you're tempted to just fade away into obscurity, pretend that the game never happened. But in the end, Celtic taking all 3 points in a difficult journey to Perth, finished St Johnstone 1, Celtic 3. And despite the question marks over today's performance, and don't worry, we will cover all grounds, despite the question marks, despite the negatives in that first half, it's a well-earned 3 points. There's no denying that. You can talk about a bit of luck, you can talk about whatever. In the end, Celtic deserved all 3 points. They turned it on in the second half. They answered the questions that we all had, and believe me, I had a lot of questions at half-time. So there is certainly positives to take from it. We're going to go through the game, you know, bit by bit as we normally do, but you can't underestimate the importance of finding ourselves back into that game and navigating it to actually find the win. Because when we were 1-0 down and all hope was kind of gone at a point, you know, we're staring down the face of dropping more points. We're allowing Rangers the opportunity to close the gap this afternoon. Whereas now we've put a wee bit of pressure on this afternoon for Rangers. Look, we're not looking great at the moment. There is no denying that. But for the next month, I said at my match preview the other day, the most important thing is winning games. And we've started the month off well. We have another, 8 or 9 games to go until the winter break. We need to keep winning. And some of the performances might be ugly, but until we can sort things out and clear out some of the dead wood at this club, winning is the most important thing. But we have to talk about the negatives from today as well. That first half, dross, absolutely, is one of the worst halves of football you'll ever see. Celtic or non-Celtic, just football in general, it's one of the worst halves of football you'll ever see. And for us as Celtic supporters, it was excruciatingly bad. It was painful to watch. You wanted to turn the telly off at half-time. And we just felt so disjointed as a team. And when you watch the team that disjointed, you feel that as a supporter. I just feel like I don't even want to watch what's happening. I'm not excited. There was no system. There was no energy. There was nothing in that first half. It was beyond dreadful. There is no amount of words in the English dictionary to describe how bad that first half was today. We had one decent chance through David Turnbull. He took a shot from outside the box. The David Turnbull classic. Fantastic save from the keeper. But that was it. Everything else was just dreadful. There was such a lack of movement. I thought that the midfield looked so dead on its feet. We couldn't do anything in the attacking third. Certain players were consistently offside. And defensively, all it took was St Johnstone to have a couple of goes back to back, you know, a couple of runs, and we would be kind of rocking or something. It was just something weird about us. It was like, you know, the confidence was shot. You know, as I said, back-to-back opportunities for St Johnstone, and we looked like the side who were 11th in the Premiership table, not St Johnstone. The first half was dreadful, and Brendan Rodgers was rightfully getting it stinking on social media, and obviously just Celtic fans voicing their concern. I was concerned. You know me, I'm Rodgers' biggest fan, but when there is due criticism, you've got to give it to him. And the first half setup was just, it was non-existent. I don't feel like there was a setup. It was like we fielded 11 men on the park, and they said good luck, and that was about it. But there are so many issues to pick apart from that first half. One of them that we have to talk about is Yang. I've been trying to hold off saying this for a few weeks in the channel. Listen, I'm not going to go as far to say he's one of the worst players I've ever seen or anything like that. But he ain't great. He ain't. I don't think he's gonna cut it. Mikey Johnson needs to be taking that spot in the team for the next few weeks, not Yang. I know that we were kind of hopeful with Yang. We've seen a kind of raw player there where there certainly was potential to work with. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that he's done and we can never play him again. That's not the right attitude or the right way to go about things with a young player. But he ain't good enough. He's miles off it. it was like he was a rookie or a competition winner fielded into a top division side today. The amount of times he was offside, and not just by an inch or 2 miles offside, was beyond a joke. You know, once or twice you can maybe go, okay, but it was just constantly offside as if he didn't know the rule existed. His movement just didn't make any sense for me. I just thought he was really, really poor, and I know I'm not alone in that kind of thinking and that evaluation of him today. And I don't want to be overly harsh on young players, but the difference in quality is staggering from the left-hand side of the park to the right-hand side of the park. And listen, Palma didn't even have a great game today, and that speaks volumes that I'm even saying that in the first place about the difference in quality. But the drop-off from Abada or Maida to Yang is detrimental to this side. It changes so much. It makes things a lot more difficult. He was a real problem in that first half, and there's a reason he got hooked at half-time. But he wasn't the only one. I mean, you've got to just say it bluntly as it is. Nobody in that first half deserved any sort of credit. I thought everybody was poor. It didn't help that we weren't setting anything up for Kyogo either. But I don't think Kyogo had the greatest of games. Just for everybody in that first half was really, really poor. And going into that second half, I was just full of so little hope. You know, there was nothing there that suggested that Celtic were going to get back into the game. So Brendan Rodgers had a lot of work to do. And luckily, what he did do, it worked. Brendan Rodgers will get it stinking today for a large portion of that performance. People not happy, dire to watch, so little entertainment value in it. He will get it stinking. But the manager also deserves credit where it's due. I think that his substitutions were spot on today. I think that he made the right changes in that second half. But the one thing that was more evident than anything else going into that second half was look at the difference a bit of pace does to this side. That's where we score our goals. That's where we're ruthless, and that's where we're better. We injected pace into the team in the second half. I think that, you know, the manager has to take a large share of the responsibility, but the players do as well, because in the first half they looked so disinterested. But as soon as they looked interested in the second half, Johnstone couldn't stop us. Every goal that we scored today had a bit of venom in it, a bit of pace, a bit of, you know, just determination in what we were doing. Whereas in the first half, there was none of that, and that's why we weren't getting goals. And that's why we weren't getting goals in the first, 10, 15, 20 minutes of the second half as well. Because we were still playing rather slow, rather rigid, backwards, side-to-side passes, with no intention at moving up the other end of the park. So as soon as you add that into the side, that's where we start scoring goals. It's so evident, and we should just be playing with that sort of tempo to the game from the get-go, for as long as we can. Now, I think there's players in this side who look knackered, and I've not even touched on that today. I think McGregor, you can see he looks visibly tired, in my opinion. He stood up, they got to go, and he performed really well in the closing stages of the game. But I think that you can see certain players on this side are looking visibly tired. So you can't do it for 90 minutes. It's just not feasible. You can't just go relentlessly for 90 minutes. When you've got such a packed schedule, and you've also got to remember the depth of the squad we're working with. We've not got the luxury of changing the team week in, week out, so you can't do that for 90 minutes. But what we done for even 10, 20 minutes there in that second half, if we just brought any of that into the first half, we would have been so much better off today, and we wouldn't have had to worry going into half-time. It's nuts what a wee bit of pace in this side does, and that's how we found our goals. So second half, we got a lot better, we made the right changes, and we blow St Johnstone out the water for the last sort of 20 minutes of the game. Do you know what? I've not even spoke about the goal that we conceded yet. I was too busy ranting and raving about how bad we were in the first half. I forgot St Johnstone actually got a goal in there. And oh boy, that was bad, wasn't it? What is going on? Matt O'Reilly takes us... Do you know that one moment from Matt O'Reilly for me summarised the entire first half for me. Such a lack of effort in trying to clear the ball. He just takes a swipe at it and I've missed it. Then it's bobbled up. Then it's Hart having an absolute calamity with, I think, Greg Taylor in his way. It's a mess from the entire Celtic side in defending that set piece. Our set piece defending is concerning. Our set pieces in general are concerning. We can't attack them. We can't defend them. We need to hire a coach who can come in and fix that. There's surely somebody out there whose speciality is set pieces and they can come in and give this side a hand. Because we've struggled with it for years now. It's not just a thing that's happened all of a sudden. We're very bad at them. Defending and attacking. And that's how St Johnstone get that goal. It was awful. Joe Hart. Wow. Just... I mean, we'll come on to your save in a minute, Joe, but oh my God, Joe. You're hurting me. You're hurting me. And the attempt at a clearance is shocking as well. It was a really poor goal to concede. This is a bit of this match reaction is as disjointed as the first half performance. We're jumping back and forth here, but it's one of those games, isn't it? We'll come on to the positives of the second half to kind of cheer things up a little bit. The goals were all really good. We needed McGregor's when it came. Time was running out. I was starting to get impatient myself. I think the side would have struggled if we didn't find it where we did. It's a good strike from McGregor. Just, batters his foot through it. Really, really good. O'Reilly's goal, I mean, that is magnificent. And that's the quality that Matt O'Reilly possesses. He just needs to show it more often. I know he's had a great season, but, in that first half, I've got an itchy nose. Oh, my God. In that first half, he's the kind of player who can drag you out of games like that. And he needs to step up and do that more often. Because the first half, he was non-existent. And then he pulls out a wonder goal like that in the second half. Use the quality you've got, son, throughout the whole game. But a brilliant goal from O'Reilly. Kyogo managed to pick up an assist on that, which was nice for the goal contributions. And then the final goal to seal all 3 points. We're lucky. Let's be real. I said I don't want to use the word lucky in this because I thought that we got our well-earned 3 points in the end. But we are lucky it didn't become 2-2 in the death of the game. Stevie May should be scoring that. It's a brilliant save from Joe Hart, and he deserves the credit where it's due as well, despite, I think, the questions rightfully being asked about the goal we conceded. He does make a vital save, a very important save, to keep it 2-1. And Tomoki Iwata, wow. Brilliant from him. We need to see more of him. I honestly don't see a lot of flaws in Tomoki Iwata's game. I think he's somebody who's quietly took his chances pretty well and probably deserves a bit more for it. And he hasn't seemed to got that yet. But wow, his work for that third goal is just tremendous. It's really, really good. And massive credit to him. Massive credit to James Forrest as well, because we've seen players miss those kind of opportunities time after time, and he just buries it and gets the job done. Continues his fantastic record against St Johnstone. The fact that James Forrest and Mikey Johnson are both saving us from dropping points against St Johnstone in the year 2023 is absolutely insane. But I don't care how it's done, as long as we get 3 points, I'm pretty happy. So Johnstone, Forrest and everybody else who put in that shift in the kind of closing half an hour of today's game, well done. But that's the kind of half an hour that you need to translate over 90 minutes. No more of this dross that we've seen in the opening 45. We can't go through much more of that. But January can't come quick enough. I just can't wait to get this run of fixtures out the way, get some signings made, hopefully, and get a lot of players out the door, because some like life is needed fucking injected into this side. One thing I did say to myself today while it was 0-0 and Mikey Johnson got brought on, and listen, this isn't me taking a dig at Johnson. He deserves the credit for his performance today. I think that Johnson was so much better than Yang, and I thought he had a good game, pretty solid in that second half, and one of the main reasons I think that we were able to go and find those goals, just through his kind of injection of pace and the upgrading quality over Yang. I think it was really, really important, so fair play to Mikey Johnson. But this is, and I don't take this as me being harsh on Mikey, because I know I do that quite a bit on this channel. But it is almost 4 years to the day. And I just thought about this at half-time when he was subbed on. It is almost 4 years to the day. I believe it was roughly, say, the 20th of January 2020, if I remember rightly. Mikey Johnson was subbed off at McDiarmid Park, and Neil Lennon, the manager of Celtic at the time, told him to fuck off. He was visibly annoyed at Mikey Johnson. Mikey Johnson did not have a great game. Mikey Johnson was not having a great time altogether. And back there and then, almost 4 years ago, I said Mikey Johnson's Celtic career probably should be coming to an end sometime soon. We are 4 years on, and Mikey Johnson is being subbed on to win us games at McDiarmid Park. Credit to you, Mikey, but if that is not a damning indictment of where our squad depth is at the minute, I don't know what is. That is insane to me. And that's just me being truthful. You can still talk about the positives of his game while being truthful about how bad our squad depth is at the minute and the options that we're bringing on. Because 4 years ago, I thought that Mikey Johnson had to move on from Celtic, and now he's still here having to come on off the bench. That's the options we're turning to. It's nuts. But hey-ho. 3-1. Right, that's it for today. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts to the game and such in the comments below. I'm going to wrap it up there, so hail, God bless, and I'll see you all next time.